To many people, Dubai is a city of luxury, penthouses, lambos, beautiful beachfront villas, and the fanciest hotels in the world. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Most people live very normal lives, doing normal things, working normal jobs.
In this video, I want to give you a sense of what is a realistic budget that you can comfortably live on here in Dubai, including different areas where you can live, different budget ranges and what to expect. And by the way, it's probably not what you think.
And of course, the great thing here is that whatever income you're making right now, by coming to Dubai, you're most likely instantly increasing your net income, because by simply setting up properly in Dubai, you have a 0% income tax and either 0 or 9% corporate tax depending on your income level. If you are interested in moving to Dubai and you want to make sure you do everything properly, you want to make sure you exit your previous country properly, and you want to understand what the process entails, you can book a free 45-minute consultation with my business partner down below, who will walk you through the entire process. And then if you decide, you can use our services and we can help you move here and slash your taxes all the way to 0. But with that, let's talk about the budgets. So the first and biggest part of your budget is of course going to be rent. So to get a very practical and realistic idea of what you're going to be spending, I recommend you go to this site called propertyfinder.ae, and here they have this price map that is going to show actual prices, like the averages and the highs and the lows from different areas around Dubai. First of all, we have the Dubai Marina and JBR, which are normally the main areas where a lot of expats like myself are going to be living in, because you sort of get this sort of 24/7 vacation vibe when you're here. You've got this artificial marina with a lot of yachts, and then you've got the beach right next to it. Everything is within walking distance, including groceries, everything like that. So that is why I really like this area, and I really like being around the water. But over in this area, in the marina, you're going to be paying on average 110,000 dirhams a year. But if you go just across this one road between the marina and JBR, the price is going to go up to 172,000 dirhams a year. This right here is the marina, and you cross this one road over here, the price essentially increases by like 50% or however much it is. Marina is sort of a lot more residential. You have a lot more people living here, whereas JBR is a lot more touristy. And if you want to go to JBR, to the beach, really you're just crossing one road, really. But let's say you want to live in this end of Dubai and you want to go even cheaper, you can go to Jumeirah Lake Towers, which is right next to the marina. This is going to be a slightly longer walk. It's maybe like a 15-20 minute walk from the marina. You essentially need to cross the entire highway. I'm here in JLT. At first glance, it's very similar to the marina, but it doesn't quite have the same feel. I feel it's more corporate, like more offices rather than people living here, but it is much cheaper. And this water, like, I don't know, it looks a bit green. I don't know. It doesn't feel the same as the marina water, because the marina water is actually connected to the ocean. This is not. It's just sort of standing still. This is a cool paddle court, by the way. And over here you also have Blue Waters. So this is like a small island that has the Dubai Eye, the Ferris wheel. But over here prices are pretty crazy. So that is JBR, and as soon as you cross this bridge, JBR, Blue Waters, the price basically doubles. Crazy. It's a pretty nice area to walk around. I do like it. It's very like polished and fancy. So for someone, that might be the right choice. In terms of the other main expat areas, you've got downtown, which is where I lived briefly at the end of last year. Prices are going to be similar to the marina at 130,000 dirhams a year. Right next to it is going to be Business Bay, a slightly cheaper 105,000 dirhams a year. This is sort of a slightly less luxurious version of downtown, a lot of big buildings. In this end, you've got a lot more locals. You've got a lot more people working like corporate jobs, for example, because right next to downtown, we've got DIFC, which stands for Dubai International Financial Center. That's basically like if you've ever been to London, like the Canary Wharf of London, where a lot of the big offices of the biggest corporations are. So let's say you work an investment banking job or something like that, you're probably going to be in this area. Personally, unless you need to be there for a job, I wouldn't say it's worth it, because you're really just paying the premium because a lot of the highest paying jobs are there. But again, each to their own. And then you've obviously got areas like the Palm at 180,000 dirhams a year, and MR Beachfront close to there as well, which is kind of like a more quieter version of JBR. Or you can try something like the Jumeirah Village Circle, which is where I'm at right now, where the average rent is only around 75,000 dirhams a year. And next to Jumeirah Village Circle, there's something called the Jumeirah Village Triangle, which is very similar. It's a bit of a construction zone still. That's probably why it's still cheaper. I think it will be a super nice area once it's finished. But if you're looking to save on rent, I know that a lot of people are living on this area, and it's also the kind of place where a lot of people are investing into property. It's not super walkable though. I've been trying to walk around here.
and like there's a lot of just roads where it would make so much sense for them to build like a walking path next to it, but they just haven't, I guess. I wouldn't perhaps live here personally right now, but if you're trying to save on rent, this could be a great option.
Then you go to places like this, like Dubai Hills. This is going to be a lot more green, a lot more like lush, like family kind of residential feel. They also have my favorite mall of the entire Dubai at Dubai Hills Mall. This is going to be similarly priced to the marina. And then even further out, we have got tons of other communities that are going to be even cheaper. So basically, the further away you go from the coast, the cheaper it's going to be. So as you can see, a realistic rent will drastically depend on where you live. Dubai is a big foodie city. The food here is absolutely amazing pretty much anywhere you go, at least in my opinion. You've of course got a ton of amazing Middle Eastern food. I'm a big fan of Middle Eastern food myself, especially since coming here. And again, you've got the whole spectrum. You can get very cheap food. You can order on this app called Kareem, and you can get meals for like 30, 40 dirhams. And then on the other end, if you want to eat at nicer restaurants, you can expect to spend at least 100 dirhams per meal, probably close to like 150 if you go on the fancier end. And of course, again, you've got very fancy places where you can spend like 300, 400, 500, 1,000. Really, again, just depends. What I do is usually pretty simple. I eat a very big, like protein heavy meals that's extremely simple and cheap that I just get from the grocery store. Then perhaps for lunch, I order something for like 30 dirhams. Then at night, either I cook a steak myself or I just go out to some restaurant. But just like with rent, you can really go as low or as high as you want. Now, what about some other costs that you might not have considered? First of all, it's going to be healthcare. Now, I know many people who are going to be coming from perhaps Europe or Canada are going to be used to free government healthcare, which is really mistakenly called free because obviously it's not free. If you're making a lot of money, you're paying a ton of taxes for it. Here, you don't have income taxes, so it's not covered by that. Instead, you pay a health insurance where you can essentially choose different packages for what you need, basically. So it's sort of like the US model, except it's much cheaper overall. I know people have said that if you have a family, maybe you're covering for many people, it can get quite expensive. But for me, as a single person, I pay 1,000 dirhams a year, not a month, a year, for like the most basic coverage. Gym memberships can actually be relatively expensive. I pay 250 dirhams per month for like it's not bad, but it's like a pretty basic gym. I expected in London, for example, I would go like a pretty nice gym for that kind of price. So that's something to keep in mind. And then you have transport. So taxis are usually pretty cheap. Whenever I go from Marina to downtown, the price is going to be something like 70 dirhams or something like that. That's like a half-an-hour drive. From the airport to the Marina is going to be like 100. That's like a 45-minute drive or something like that.
In terms of driving here, cars are extremely cheap, both to buy and to rent from my experience. And because we happen to live in an oil-producing country, the perk of that is that gas is also extremely cheap. I think it's like less than half the cost of what I'm used to paying in Finland or the UK. So that's pretty great. And again, I'm repeating myself, but what you need to budget is going to depend on your lifestyle. A very useful website is going to be something called Numbeo, where you can essentially compare different cities. So you can take your city and take what you're spending there and just multiply by the sort of cost difference between those two cities to get a very realistic idea for you. If you're curious about my budget, I did make a more detailed video on that, which you can watch right there. But the kinds of places I stay at, if I'm renting annually, I can get for around 10,000 dirhams a month, living in the Marina, downtown. Although I have been renting short term a lot when I'm here, so in reality the rent has been a bit more, and perhaps another 7,000 to 8,000 for everything else, including food and other costs. But then we could of course look at another scenario. Well, let's say you don't care about living in the nicest areas. Let's say you don't care about eating out. You make all your food at home. You live in an area like this here in JVC. You could feasibly get rent for around 4,000 dirhams a month, and then perhaps another 4,000 for all the rest of it, which comes out to around like 2,000 US dollars a month. So the great thing about Dubai is that you can really curate your lifestyle to whatever level of spending you're comfortable with, and then over time, as you increase your income, you can increase that spending and go all the way to the luxury end if you really want to.
I would say though that if you are penny pinching, you might consider whether living in Dubai is worth it, because of course it's not the cheapest city in the world. And if you're doing what I encourage everyone to do, which is to have an online income where you can earn from anywhere, you might look at places like Thailand, Bali, Southeast Asia in general. They have a lot of locations where you get so much for your money. So that might be something to consider. If you are looking to move to Dubai right now and you're coming here specifically to set up a company, it can be a bit of a process. There's a lot of sort of moving parts that you need to figure figure out. So what I did is I made this video right here. It's a full free guide on everything you need to consider, all the way from leaving your country to setting up a company here, getting a visa here, making sure you're properly tax resident here, everything you need to know just in that one video. So if that is interesting to you, go watch that video next, and I will see you in the next one.